Hello, crypto people. Joey here from the Chart Guys. I've been trading full time for 7 years, learning at the Chart Guys for 6 of them. Joined as a member in 2018, and I'm here to talk about some crypto. Bulls in general, still absolutely maintaining control. Definitely got some consolidation in alts here today. Not all alts because we still have rotation going, but we can see Bitcoin dominance is green. Bitcoin's green on the day. But if we scroll through our list, it's a pretty mixed bag as we're seeing rotation, which is what bulls absolutely want to see. You know, a name like INJ down 7% on the day might seem bad, but, we just put in a 20% day yesterday. So consolidation is healthy in that context there. So the Bitcoin show goes on. And as the title of the stream says, how long is this cheat code going to work? First of all, what is the cheat code? Anybody who's been tuning into the streams, I bet you can guess it. It's the hourly back burner. They just keep hitting. They just keep hitting on Bitcoin. And if we turn on our RSI line here, we can see all of these lows that we've been coming off of recently have been hourly back burners. Even back here, hourly back burners marking our lows. So this will continue to work until it does not. And I have to do a little clickbait in the title. I really don't really like the verbiage of calling something a cheat code because trading is not easy. Even when you have a clear signal, I'm not downplaying the difficulty and experience needed to play these hourly oversold bounces. But we can see why we're always talking about backburners, why we're always talking about EMA riders. So many names are riding EMAs and hitting backburners, and it just will continue to work until it does not. And once it stops working, we'll have to obviously take note because that'll be a tone shift. So much of trading, especially in this kind of market environment, is about identifying what's the status quo. Is it an EMA that we're riding? Is it an RSI level that we're bouncing from? Determine what is normal on the chart. And then once that changes, we know that there's a change about. So what it will probably look like is when we fail our first hourly oversold backburner, that's going to be the first sign of weekly consolidation, because if your hourly backburner is hitting, that's telling you daily consolidation is healthy. If it's not hitting, that is telling you that daily consolidation is not healthy. If daily consolidation is not healthy, that's the first sign needed to shape up some weekly consolidation. So to take a little bit of a step back, for feels like a long time now, we've pretty much been, maybe 3 weeks or something, 4 weeks, been pretty just straight up bull lens in the crypto space because the bulls are showing everything that we need to see. We're seeing rotation, we're seeing healthy consolidation, we're seeing EMAs hold and all of that jazz. But I do want to take a moment to talk about what nobody wants to talk about, and that is the inevitable consolidation on larger timeframes. It will happen again. As I've said before, no one knows where it's going to happen from, but that's why we do things like define our EMA riders and our hourly backburners and whatnot. But I just want to caution everybody and make sure everybody knows that we're in a euphoric market right now. I mean, everybody knows that. But what everybody might not know is how euphoric markets can shift very quickly to a fear market. Again, there's no sign of that yet, but you look online and you read the Twitter space, and then even just people who don't care about crypto are starting to reach out to a lot of members here at the Chart Guys being like, hey, should I buy Bitcoin now? And these are all hallmarks of what we start to see closer to tops than bottoms, that's for sure. Down when we were banging the table on the first weekly uptrend in months, nobody cared. We weren't getting any views on the videos and this and that, and now everybody and their brother cares about Bitcoin. People on Wall Street bets are talking about Bitcoin. Everybody's talking. I read a post yesterday that some guy sold all of his stuff and put it into Bitcoin, and he's willing to ride it to zero because he believes in it, just like a new convert into Bitcoin. And it's just not what you want to see. Obviously, that move there has its own issues that we won't dig into. but just starting to see the stuff that tells us to make sure we're playing tight. So doesn't mean we're not trying to buy dips, doesn't mean we're not trying to continue to look for rotation, because above all, we're not hunting a top. We're not hunting a top. We're just making sure that when the status quo changes, that we're not just trying to infinity scale in to this dip, because we could see healthy weekly consolidation from here that pulls back 25%. If you go hog wild on that hourly oversold back burner, you don't want to turn from hourly oversold back burner gang to 4-hour oversold back burner gang. And just for that, Devin from the Chart Guys sent me this mug, and it's the good old Herald Hide the Pain, and it says 5-minute oversold gang, just because, I mean, sometimes it happens. I'm telling you what not to do, but I'm not going to act like I've never been in that situation where you're like, oh, 5-minute oversold back burner. I'll start scaling in, and I'll add more at 15-minute oversold if we get there. And then, 24 hours go by, and you're then part of, hourly oversold gang, and you've got horrible positioning and all this and that. So when we fail these things, good to stop out, good to reassess. So that's kind of the preface here, just starting to warm everybody up to the possibility that after now, how far have we gone? 91% since our last weekly higher low. It will come again. We don't know where it will come from, but you got to have a game plan, because that's the next step of this. There's plenty of us that are actively trading this space, but there's plenty of people that are just swinging and holding. So you got to ask yourself, do you want to ride through weekly consolidation? Is that part of your trade game plan? Are you just going to ride weekly consolidation? As long as weekly 12 EMA holds, then you're good to go. If that's your game plan, that is A-okay. Some people don't want to do that. So they may say, once we lose the daily uptrend and lose the daily 12 EMA, I'm going to stop out my position and then try to buy the weekly higher low, or I'm going to stop out half of my position. You don't have to be all or nothing. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to say, okay, well, we're in a euphoric market. I am going to slowly scale out. Ryan V in chat here, that's what he's doing with his positions. He loaded them up far back, and he knows what euphoria does. He knows how euphoric markets work, and he's slowly scaling out, not worried about missing a leg up. You just have to have a plan. If you want to hold it till 2030, then you don't care what's going to go on. But you also know darn well that we'll likely see a bear market between now and 2030. It would be astonishing if we didn't. And I don't think, I've seen people talking about like, oh, with the new ETFs, the days of 50% pullbacks are gone, this, that, and the other thing. I just don't believe any of that hogwash. I mean, if the S&P 500 can pull back, let's get some percentages from, let's see, what time frame am I at? Oh, it's the monthly. I'm going to go to the quarterly. Looking at the financial crisis, 57% on the S&P 500. Looking at the tech bubble, 50%. If that's what the S&P 500 can do, you got to be crazy to think that Bitcoin can't do that again. So not calling for a top, not calling for a bear market, not calling for any of that, just softening up minds, saying what nobody wants to hear on this stream, but that's that. So watching for the next hourly oversold back burner. If it hits and goes to higher highs, the show stays on the road. Daily 12 EMA going to be our most important guide. And we've kind of got a bit of a zoom out game going from in to out. This was our last hourly oversold, V-shaped to new all-time highs. Now bulls trying to shape up a 4-hour higher low off the 12 EMA. If that forms, then healthy 4-hour higher low is set, and we're just looking up to all-time high. If that's lost, we'll be zooming out to the 12-hour 12 EMA, which has caught our last few bounces. If that's lost, then we're zooming out to the daily 12 EMA, which caught that liquidation flush on the 5th of March there, held at the bottom of our EQ back here, held the bottom of our EQ back here. If that's lost, we're zooming out to the weekly 12 EMA. So full on zoom out game. If you're more aggressive, you're looking to play up the smaller time frame ones. If you're more patient, you're waiting for the larger time frame ones. And that goes as well with like, how do you want to manage your position? If you're more protective, you're going to stop out when the smaller time frame ones are broken. If you want to give it a looser leash, you're letting the weekly or even the monthly, because at this point, we'll lose the weekly 12 EMA at some point, and then we're going to be looking at the monthly 12 EMA, looking for a monthly higher low. And that distance from here is 41%. So this is where I'm like, anybody saying the days of the high percentage pullbacks are gone, I just think that's absolutely insane, because monthly 12 EMA is 40% away. And we can look at it from back here. In 2021, crazy move. Went a lot further than a lot of people anticipated in a huge pullback, 55%. Healthy monthly higher low, ended up going to higher highs without follow through. We know when you get your flag confirmed without follow through, that's often a pivot on a larger time frame trend. So what it ended up being here, and that's what kicked off the last bear market. So you got to ask yourself what you're about, and you've got to have a game plan. You don't want to be figuring this out in the moment because you won't think clearly. It's like going into battle and trying to learn how to work your rifle in the field while bullets are flying over you or something. You're obviously not going to do well if you're sitting at a training area or wherever people do all that. That's the environment to learn this stuff, make your game plan, have your approach defined. So everybody has to be thinking about game plans. When you got noobs selling all their stuff and putting their whole net worth in after a multi-100% move, it's a red flag. Doesn't mean we'll top now. We could see another 20% before we top. We could see another 50%. Nothing will surprise me. But define your game plan. So that's what we got going on with Bitcoin. We got Bitcoin dominance looking at the daily here, kind of slinking upwards. Alt bulls want to see this daily downtrend continue. They don't want to see a little daily uptrend confirmed here. We'd still be looking for a 2-day lower high, but bigger picture, are we going to see money rotate from Bitcoin into the altcoins? If that's going to be the case, we got to get a 6-month lower high shaping up on Bitcoin dominance. And at this point, we're decently far away from our key supports here. So always watching dominance to see what's the vibe of what we've got going on in the space right now. So let's click through our list and check out some names. Gonna be decently short stream because I got another Chart Guys one. But Ethereum, 12-hour 12 EMA, same thing, been saying for over a month, remains the case here. So bought up last night. We got bears defending the highs of 40.93 and a little more 12-hour consolidation, but bulls trying to bounce from it again. So let's zoom in for some more clarity. Yeah, I think I'm just liking a 4-hour EQ here. High, low, lower high, bulls potentially trying to shape up the higher low here. If it breaks bull, the show goes on. 12-hour 12 EMA continues to act as support. If it breaks bear, the status quo will be changing. We'll zoom out to the daily 12 EMA, see if that can act as support and see if we have a new guide. And that's the beauty of being in uptrends on all time frames, is once you lose one, you zoom out to the next and there's decent odds of it continuing to hold, and you just go down the list with that. So ETH, weak relatively, but obviously strong in the bigger picture, and there's potential for relative strength to come in. We know on ETH BTC, been watching this EQ for quite some time now, pretty much all year at this point, and we're just coming down on the daily. So key support is going to be 52.90. If that holds and bulls get a bounce, then we're going to see relative strength come back into ETH. So struggling to get the daily higher low set for sure. And we've got 4-hour 12 EMA, 4-hour downtrend guide for that. But same as with what we were talking about LTC BTC a few days ago or last week, whenever it was, when we were looking for that daily or 2-day bounce. Did we know it was going to have a monster day? No, but we knew the most likely scenario on the ratio chart was a higher low, and with that, knew to look for potential relative strength in LTC. All it took was this one move up on the ratio, and that was this massive, nearly 20% day on LTC itself. So looking for something similar on ETH BTC, not necessarily the same magnitude, but looking for relative strength to come back. Got to get the 4-hour uptrend to get that done. So, and then, back to the talk of, is money going to rotate from Bitcoin to the alts? If that's going to happen, bulls want this tightening range on ETH BTC to break to the upside. That would be it would light the alt space just as a whole. So this will be key when this breaks. This will be key when it breaks, and we could continue to tighten up here for a while because it's a huge range. It's a huge range, 20% from low to high on that one. We're starting to tighten, but still double-digit percentage on these moves. So that's what we're looking for on ETH. On LTC, looking like bears maybe going to try to get some daily consolidation underway. Deep 4-hour consolidation off of the top. 4-hour lower high set at 98.99. A little bit of a hourly rising wedge. Not perfect. Maybe more of a channel, actually. Let's see if we can slap some lines on there. That wasn't great. I'm going to turn off the magnet. Oh, yeah. So main thing was these higher highs not seeing follow through. And that tells us that bulls are losing steam, and then bears showed up. So the big question will be, can bears confirm a 4-hour downtrend, get daily consolidation underway, or do bulls confirm a 4-hour uptrend? We never had one on that move. So just looking at this as an EQ, high, low, lower high, higher low. If it breaks bull, daily stair step continues. Bulls maintain full control. If it breaks bear, that's daily consolidation. We'll be looking back to the daily 12 EMA, which would come into play very quickly if we do break that bear. So the big thing with LTC is, what does this tightening range do? We know bigger picture, it's a turd as long as it's below the weekly 12 EMA. Bulls trying to get some mojo going out of Black Dirt breakdown all-time lows. But got to break this tightening range to the upside if LTC is going to be on the menu in any more notable sense. So bigger picture on LTC, we've got key resistance at 114.98. I'm pretty sure, no, so I think this was historic daily overbought. Yeah, it topped us out that first time, but then bulls got the higher high. So RSI levels are chill on LTC in general up here. What else we got? Sol, a lead bull today. So this is another one we've been watching here. And I'm not going to start with Sol. I'm going to start with Sol BTC because this is why we are watching it. We know it's been relatively weak for a couple months, and we know we're looking for a monthly higher low. And if that shapes up, then Sol USD is going to get some solid pump. So we just saw the same thing with Rune BTC. Looking for the monthly higher low, relatively weak for several months. And then when that monthly higher low got set, Rune USD got a really nice move. So looking for something similar on Sol, looking for something similar on INJ. INJ BTC, we've been relatively weak. We're looking for a monthly higher low. We're in the territory where it could shape up. These ratio charts help you be one step ahead in terms of rotation, because we're always talking about like, oh, we're seeing rotation in the space. That's great. That's what bulls want to see. But you got all these freaking names. How do you know where to go? Obviously, if something's up a lot, you can be trying to buy higher lows on it. But when you get into the more granular bits of the game, that's when you're implementing these ratio charts and looking for, and it is kind of like a fourth dimension in the game, because then you're working with the chart of your relative strength or weakness and your USD pairing. You're trading on the USD pairing. So those are the levels that matter. But these BTC pairings can tell us when to get ready for something, or tell us when we're getting our first sign of something happening. So like on INJ, we're getting our first sign of that happening. We had this 2-day downtrend that we've been watching for quite some time, and we've now broken it. Bears are defending resistance at 74.61, but bulls are hoping to get bounce follow through, set another daily or 2-day higher low, and see continuation up there. Because if a monthly higher low is going to shape up, we've got to regain a weekly uptrend. So at this point, not a convincing weekly bounce at all by any means. But we got the early signal yesterday, or was it Monday? Let's go figure this out. Yeah, no, it was yesterday. We got the early signal, we had the volume, we broke the 2-day resistance, and that says, okay, this is the first sign that INJ BTC may be shaping up that monthly higher low. We know there's more steps ahead, but that's the first sign. That tells you to focus on LT or INJ. So with Sol, we'll go to Sol BTC. Sol BTC is a daily equilibrium. low, high, double bottom, double top, higher low, and now we're bumping up on resistance. If bulls can get through 22.39.4, then that would be some weekly bounce continuation and have us be saying that this is a weekly tightening range with a bear break, no follow through, right into a bounce. And then we would look for a weekly uptrend to get a monthly higher low set. And that would bring SOL onto the menu. So watching very closely, and I'm actually going to set an alert. I'm not sure why I don't have one on there already. Let me turn my magnet back on. Let's see, we'll get our right color so we can stay organized, and we'll add an alert on that line so we can be notified, okay, what we're looking for on SOL is continuing to facilitate and manifest itself. And if you go back to Monday's stream, talked about this exact thing. And now SOL's seeing a nice move of relative strength. And if we go to SOL USD, here's Monday's stream off the daily 12 EMA, and we're up 17% from it. So daily 12 EMA going to be the guide for SOL. That makes the low of Monday, 136.49, the most important support. And let's see what we got in smaller time frames. Not a lot of clarity on the 4 hour. Not a lot of clarity on the 1 hour. We've got an hourly stair step, so that is good. we can be using that for sure. Once that breaks, we'll be looking for an hourly higher low compared to 149.61. But maybe the 12-hour uptrend intermediate term. I think I talked about this on the midday stream. I'm having like a little deja vu, kind of re-diagnosing what we've got going on here. So yeah, that's SOL. Not too worried about RSI levels on any of these names because we're in a euphoric market. I care about when they get stacked. If we have 5, 15, hourly, 4-hour, daily, all above 80, then we know odds are decent for a short-term pullback. But how much pullback do we see? Does it end up going to higher highs? Who knows? We were, this was a live stream this was also a live stream. I was doing a Chart Guys live stream, and I was like, okay, this is looking like a blow off top shaping up like now, because we had everything at historical overbought at the same time. Yeah, it happened. It was a huge pullback, but higher low off the 12 EMA, and the show stays on the road. So none of these things would indicate like generational top is in now. Nothing will really, well, I can't say nothing. If there was some big legal thing or hack with Bitcoin, that could obviously ruin the whole show. But in general, there's not any technical signal that will let us know that like, oh, this is the start of a bear market or something. You always have to go step by step, one step at a time. People want to get too ahead of themselves, but you don't do yourself any service by kind of developing these biases and game plans when it's unrealistic to really do something like that. If you just go step by step, take it as it comes, know what your technical signals are telling you, and then adjust accordingly and act accordingly based off of that. That's it's a nice way to navigate the market. There's so many ways people can navigate the market. So my way, Dan's way, doesn't necessarily or isn't going to work for a bunch of people. Everybody's got to find what works for them and then just have some type of a system. So not by any means, saying this is the way or the only way or anything like that. So let's keep moving through the list, keep the show on the road. Told someone in the last video I'd look at ETC. So let's start on the weekly. We have got a weekly uptrend, and we're up at the highs, coming into a decent bit of resistance here. Still way off of all-time highs, and it's just going to be the daily 12 EMA rider. Again, I know I sound like a one-trick pony, but in this market environment, find the EMA that you're riding, find the uptrend that you're in, let that define your status quo. When that changes, adjust accordingly. So, and as I've said before, if we get into a range-bound market, you probably won't hear me say EMA rider for months. But right now, this is the play, backburners and EMA riders. It's simple and sweet. It allows you to objectively define what we've got going on, and that's that. So double daily inside bars, probably a equilibrium on a smaller time frame. Yep, that's actually beauty. High, low, lower high, higher low, lower high. If it breaks bull, Another hold at daily 12 EMA, the show goes on. If it breaks bear, that's a loss of the daily 12 EMA and the first sign of weekly consolidation. So, pretty key spot up here. Pretty key spot up here as we know things are getting euphoric. We know all this and that, everything we already talked about. You know, gotta be crossing your T's and dotting your I's right now, because it would not be surprising if when this tops, it's hard and fast, because that's just how the crypto space does it. You got a bunch of people on high leverage, because that's really the whole thing that allows the crypto space to see just these epic dumps. It's not that people want to sell, they're being forced to sell. So, and then when they're forced to sell, it pushes it lower, and that forces the next person to sell. So that's when you get these liquidation flushes. And that's how, you know, this thing can drop 20% in a day and a half or something like that. Not calling for it, just saying cross your T's, dot your I's. You don't want to get on the wrong side of that stuff. So let's move through INJ. A little bit of consolidation today after the daily equilibrium bull break with nice follow through. And bulls tried to set a healthy 4-hour higher low, getting smacked back down here. So I'm not going to hold it against them too much, because when you're a blue sky bull, you get leeway. You get leeway, and for me, it's going to be about the 4-hour 12 EMA. If we lose 4-hour 12 EMA, daily consolidation probably shaping up. If you hold 4-hour 12 EMA, you can keep the show on the road. So that's currently around 47.50 or so. And we got resistance at 51.29 ahead of all-time high 52.92. So let's look we already looked at INJ BTC. It's rejecting from that resistance. So that needs to set like a 12-hour higher low. INJ BTC, there might only be 8-hour at this point. Yeah, 8-hour. Yeah, 12-hour is not there yet. So looking for like an 8-hour higher low on INJ BTC. And you know, this is not your traditional cup and handle. Cup and handle is not a reversal pattern. It's a continuation pattern. But we can still talk about the very clear double top, very clear wall of resistance here. And if you bull flag below it and then get the breakthrough, pretty decent, pretty decent. So I won't call it a cup and handle because I'm a nerd, but looking for this to be healthy potentially and get back up through there to further shape up the odds of that monthly higher low shaping up on INJ BTC. So as far as INJ USD, you know, the 8-hour is not bad here either. The 8-hour is not bad here either, but we've got no EMAs that we're riding, so we can't call it an EMA rider. Let's see where hourly oversold would be. That's still a good bit lower, huh? Yeah, that's like in the 43s, 43.65. Let's see where that would line up with. That'd be daily 12 EMA. So certainly on watch next time we get some more notable pullback. What else we got? A lot of our blue sky bulls kind of consolidating here today. Looks like AIOZ. Oh, did we ding that? Mapping it out last week? My alert didn't go off, so I don't think we actually hit hourly oversold. No, we didn't actually hit it. It was, I dropped the line here, or here? When did I drop it? Here, during the live stream at this hourly oversold level. But as I say, the lines move around as the price action moves. But in hindsight, it ended up dinging it. We didn't quite get to hourly oversold, so we can delete that now. But bulls trying to shape up a daily higher low. They've technically done it. So this thing's a beast in blue skies. Got to keep eyes on it. Got to keep eyes on it. So if bulls want to get the daily higher low set, going to need a 4-hour trend change from here. Lots of room for a higher low compared to 70 cents. And got to get back through 80.41, and then we're just looking up at all-time high. Who else we got? Is RNDR doing anything? No, it's still not doing anything. Trying to get a daily higher low set. Trying to get a daily higher low set. You got to pretty much get back through the high of today, 11.78, to get that done. And then we're looking up at all-time highs, 12.78. And as long as daily 12 EMA holds on this consolidation, it's healthy. Daily 12 EMA is lost, and we're zooming out to weekly 12 EMA, which set our last weekly higher low here. So FET, also very similar look, trying to get, let's see. YouTube's giving me a weird alert here. Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. I don't even know what that means. I have to look into it. Oh, I think I'm dropping frames. That's what's going on. Dropped a good number of frames. Hopefully, y'all are still here. So yeah, FET, another daily 12 EMA rider. So even if we lose this low here at 252, gonna be looking down to daily 12 EMA, 240. As long as it holds, the show goes on. Blue Sky Bull, absolutely ripping. Got the AI narrative and all of that. So top watch there. What else we got? ARKM, another daily 12 EMA rider, testing here now. So these are the types of things. Do we know that the daily 12 EMA is going to hold again? No, we don't. But how much is it going to cost you to find out? You know, you got your stop a little bit below, you size down because it's super volatile. It's just one of those things that EMA riders work until they don't. And if you try to predict when they're not going to work, that kind of takes some of the magic out of them. You don't blindly trust them where you're not putting your stops in, but you don't trust your emotions of just like, wow, this thing's gone up so far. You know, it's got to be due for consolidation soon. Yeah, it is due for consolidation soon, but this is the crypto space. I would have said that it was due for consolidation here, and then here, and then here. So you just gotta submit to the market gods, respect what kind of market this is, and give it a go. And you don't even have to like try to be fishing off the lows. You can say, all right, if we break this daily stair step, then I'm gonna enter and put my stop below the low and try to sell half, get risk free. You got your stop there, you got your half at your 1-to-1, and you know, you don't even need to go to new all-time highs to get your risk out of the equation. And then if the show goes on, you got a position. If it doesn't and you stop out, then you're avoiding weekly consolidation, which is what you want to do anyways. So yeah, and you know the same could be said for these meme coins. SHIB, getting tight. And it's actually sweet because I think it was a week ago we were talking like, you know, traders want SHIB to get really, really tight because then your stop's closer after the breakout, whichever way you're playing it, gets a bunch of traders on the same page. And we're getting exactly what we're looking for here. Hold on just a moment. Still kind of working through the tail end of that cold. So yeah, SHIB, getting tight. Bulls are fishing off the lows, bears are fishing off the highs. If we break it to the upside, the show goes on. If we break it to the downside, that's weekly consolidation shaping up. And if the space as a whole stays healthy, then there's nothing saying these meme coins can't see another massive leg up. To compare it again to the 2021 tightening range, 400% move up, tighten up for a long time, break, big time follow through. Certainly doesn't mean that it has to happen like that again, but this was about a 400% move up, and now we're tightening on up. So one thing to be aware of, looking at this now, it could shift from a 6-hour EQ to a daily EQ. If we break this to the upside, like this, but reject from here, then that could turn into a daily EQ. So we don't know what it's going to do. We never know what it's going to do. Well, that's a pretty straight line, if I do say so myself. We never know what it's going to do. We just got to put ourselves in positions to profit potentially if the market moves in our favor. And the tighter it gets, the less risk you have to get yourself into that type of position. So let's see. Pepe cooling off a little bit. Obviously still very strong, but we had our 8-hour 12 EMA rider and it's now been lost. But bears aren't really seeing follow through. So after you lose the EMA, which, you know, isn't even wildly convincing, but we did get closes below here for the first time. If bears are going to follow through on that, they need to confirm the downtrend after. But bouncing right back up to the highs, it's almost more so looking like a little inverse head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, maybe a right shoulder to get a daily higher low more confidently set to keep the show on the road. So it's still our lead bull in the meme coin space, I believe. Yeah, still our lead bull in the meme coin space, but cooling off a little bit at the highs here. So Daily uptrend guide, new line in the sand here is that low of the 8-hour pullback below the 12 EMA at 751. If that were to be lost, maybe some weekly consolidation shaping up. Doge, daily 12 EMA rider, bouncing from it again yesterday, and 12% off of the daily 12 EMA. An active trader's dream when you have clarity like this. What else we got? Let's look at BNB. There's a pretty big BNB BTC, pretty big structural change on BNB. We had this very clear zone of resistance. It had acted as support before, and we got bulls getting up and over. So what does this do for us? As bulls looking for a 6-month higher low to shape up. Been weak for a long time. It's the quarterly. It gets a quarterly bounce underway. So we can say that. If it sees follow through, it'll be a 6-month higher low shaping up. But that's big for BNB, and it's a lead bull here today. We got a daily, this is just a daily stair step on BNB BTC. Let's see if we're riding anything. 12-hour 12 EMA can be our guide, 12-hour uptrend. And as long as that's intact, BNB has relative strength. If we look at BNB USDT, we are not too far from all-time highs. Not too far from all-time highs. Beastie move up on the monthly. Weekly 12 EMA rider like so many others. Daily stair step up. This is very similar to Rune. If we look at Rune USDT, just that pop down and daily stair step right off the lows. So probably got 4-hour 12 EMA that we're riding. Yep. 4-hour 12 EMA on BNB USD. As long as that's holding, bulls in full control, lead bull here today. Some 4-hour inside bars, little hourly trying to be a bull flag. Bulls are strong. We got Matic strong here today. Where's Matic? Where are you, friend? So Matic is the daily 12 EMA rider. Simple as you like it. Daily higher low. Off the 12 EMA yesterday, up 15% from it. Let's see if it was an hourly back burner. I wouldn't say it was. I mean, it kind of was, but we first hit hourly oversold here and then went to lower lows to the daily 12 EMA. Actually, this is almost identical to what Bitcoin did on March 5th. Let's go back and look. So that first hit of hourly oversold, I guess it's not quite the same, but we went deep into hourly oversold because it was the hourly oversold and the daily 12 EMA was what hit it. So if you started trying at hourly oversold, which is what I did, I was actually live on stream. It was a little tougher for you, but that's why when I'm doing this, which I only realized in hindsight after this stream because I was a little frazzled doing it live for obvious reasons, and I didn't do what I always say you've got to do, where you mark your oversold level and then you mark your EMA, and that's the zone that you're interested in. And basically, once I stopped out of my one of my attempts, what ended up being that final attempt on the stream, I didn't try again because I didn't have my line marked up and I lost perspective of where things were. But if we look at Matic and just kind of reverse engineer this, we can say, okay, well, on this pullback, we're looking at hourly oversold. So we've got our first line there. I'm not going to label it up just because for sake of time. But you got your first lines, your hourly oversold. Your second line is your daily 12 EMA. And, at the low of this candle, I almost guarantee it just perfectly wicked it, because once you bounce back up, that pulls the EMA back up. But then that's your zone that you're looking for. And then when you're zoomed in, looking for a 5-minute trend change, looking for whatever you're looking for, that, okay, I'm interested if we're in here. So that's where some prep helps. That's where this RSI indicator helps. It's called RSI Levels by Abdami. RSI Levels, level by Abdami, and it's sweet. It's sweet. You definitely want to adjust the settings, because if you put it on your chart, it's all tripped out, just freaking crazy, because it's got like 30, 27, 23, like all these different things and the crazy colors and lines. So what you do is you go into the settings. Come on now. And I just uncheck everything but the 70 and the 30. I drop down the opacity on the lines, the weight on the lines, and then that's how I've got mine, just this dainty little line there, so it's not too overpowering on the charts. But in this environment, super valuable to be able to map out your plays, be able to set alerts where you want to set alerts and all that jazz. Let's look at one more and then we'll pop into the chat. I'm going to have to wrap it up 10, 15 minutes. Looking at FIL, another daily 12 EMA rider. And the big question with this is this going to be our next long-term baser that gets a solid leg up? At this point, kind of struggling. So holding daily 12 EMA. We need FIL BTC to come to life. Actually, I haven't looked at this in a minute. I think we had an EQ here. Yeah, this is actually not a great look for Phil because it's trying to break out. You got higher high, no follow through, higher high, no follow through, maybe just a double top. No, a slight higher high without follow through. Enhance, little dink above that. So that's not a great look. We know it's monthly 12 EMA, if I'm not mistaken, that we need to get over for the show to really start on Phil, but we're rejecting again. So if Phil USD is gonna moonshot, we got to get this monthly uptrend on the ratio, and bears are defending the 12 EMA. So might have to bail on Phil for being the next link. Jasmy, Doge, Theta, all these names that based out and pumped. Let's see. I think we'll just wrap it up there. AAVE is having another nice day. Kind of, where's it at? Kind of correlated to Matic a good bit. They seem to link up. Daily 12 EMA rider, daily bull flag confirmed. Still overhead resistance coming into a good chunk of price action. I bet if we turn on our volume profile, we probably got a fat node here. The heck? I guess not. This volume down here just dwarfs it, so it doesn't really show us any volume there. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird. I would have thought for sure there was something with all of this back and forth around here, but there's not. We'll just trust our daily uptrend. Let's trust our daily uptrend. All right. Let's see what y'all got going on. Revy, what up, dude? Stay humble. Very important right now. Jahanzib, how you doing, brother? I'm doing well. Let's see. How do you spend time when the charts are not clear or range bound? Keep staring at charts? I don't know. It kind of depends where you are in your journey. For a long time and currently still, I just look at different charts. I don't really care if I'm not trading something. Like, and a good example of this is in 2018, I was not trading crypto, but I was like really grinding, trying to build up my TA skills. So I would watch Bitcoin just tick around all night and practice TA on it, even though I wasn't trading it. So if your crypto coins aren't doing well, then go watch the broad market, go watch pot stocks or the AI stocks or semiconductors, something. Corn, wheat, love me some commodities. Gold's in blue skies. We're getting healthy rotation in the metal space into miners, copper, platinum. Actually, I didn't look at one second. This palladium. Palladium's like the LTC of the metal space. Yeah, it's kind of trying to come to life a little bit. Even the turdiest turd is getting some love. So yeah, I'd watch other stuff if you're really trying to grind your development of your skills. But that being said, there's something about balance. And, right now at this point in my life, if there is nothing going on the charts, I would 100% be outside, be out in the woods, at the waterfalls, biking, frisbee, longboarding, whatever. But I've got a lot of responsibilities now with the chart guys, so I end up kind of being chained to the desk. For now, that won't be a forever thing. But yeah, balance is important. If you're not like balls to the wall trying to, outwork everybody in the world, then if there's not a lot going on, go spend time with loved ones, go exercise, go do other stuff. If you're like, all right, I've got 3 years to really figure this stuff out, and I'm going to put in more than 12 hours a day every day because I want to get my 10,000 hours as fast as I can, then yeah, find another ticker. Find another ticker. You can paper trade it on TradingView for free. Get your practice reps in. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. I'm going to read that comment out loud. He says, this is the best crypto alpha on YouTube. Should have 10K people in here, but I'm cool with trading against the ignorant crowd. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, it's got 141 people who want the juice here. I appreciate y'all being here. If you appreciate me being here, hit that like button. Again, I hate plugging the likes, but I got to. TK, thank you, my dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's look at MSTR real quick. It has taken off more than BTC and is just beasting. Well, actually, maybe we can't say it's taken off more than BTC in a percentage standpoint. I imagine it has. Yeah, in a percentage standpoint, it has. But structurally, if we look at that, pretty dang similar. So almost everything that we're talking about with BTC, you can just slop it over to MSTR. Daily uptrend, EMA riders, probably, I don't know, I'm not as good at estimating stocks. I'm going to go the rare case of the 6-hour 12 EMA rider. Nah, I mean, kind of recently, but what are we riding? We'll probably stick with the 4-hour and maybe the 12-hour. Yeah, 4-hour. When that's lost, we'll zoom out to the 12-hour. When that's lost, we'll zoom out to the daily. When the daily's lost, we're looking for some weekly consolidation. But who knows where it's going to top? The show goes on until bears do something. All right. Scrolling through here. Let's see. Let's look at the old arbitrator. The Arbitron. The one and only ARB. So this is very similar to INJ. This is very similar to Sol's weekly. This is very similar to RNDR's weekly. And I can almost guarantee, or actually I know for a fact, that our BTC is going down and we need it to go up. So you love to be at the highs sideways on the USD pairing while your BTC ratio is getting smoked, because if this shows back up, which a higher low is the most likely scenario by a long shot, granted the odds are decreasing as we get closer, especially with a little increasing bear volume, but I would still be astonished if we just go right down through these lows. So if we can get over daily 12 EMA rider on ARB BTC, then ARB USD is likely going to break its weekly sideways range. ARB USDT likely to break its weekly sideways range to the upside and see more blue sky action here. But until then, it's a range bound play. You're looking to play long off the lows, short off the highs, and that's that. Not much more to talk about within here. Daily EQ, bears defending the highs. But when you're in a range, you know that smaller time frames are going to be more difficult to trade because they lack clarity. And with that, why would you don't want to slosh around in here when you've got something like FET that's just daily 12 EMA rider, zero lack of clarity, or Bitcoin or Ethereum or Matic, like any of these things with a lot of clarity. That's where you want to be. You don't want to sleep on ARB. ARB, if the space stays strong, will be back on the menu at one point, most likely. But you don't have to tie up capital when you're just sideways. You can wait for the break and then get in. Let's see, my cat's at the window, but I think I don't know if he's really trying to get in. We'll see. It's a beautiful day here. So he's probably kind of just chilling. Let's see. So Decipher If you're looking to trade the ETFs, should you use those specific charts or the 24-hour charts of exchanges such as Coinbase? You should use the Coinbase or Binance chart. So how I do it is if I trade IBIT, and so I'll see the IBIT chart on my broker, but on my trading view on the center monitor, I have BTC USDT going on, and those hourly oversold levels, those trend changes, that's what I care about. And then IBIT is just like a proxy for it. So you still obviously need to see your IBIT chart to figure out what your numbers are, what your risk's going to be, all of that stuff, but definitely be charting the underlying. Let's see what we got here. So Nout, wondering which EMA indicator I'm using. It's just the regular old EMA, and I've got 12 and 26. 12 is the top one, 26 is the bottom one, and these are actually, so Dan used to use 4 and 8 back in the day, and then on GDAX, they had 12 and 26 defaulted on there, and that's what converted him over. So yeah, if you just go in here and you do EMA, you can grab probably just this double EMA is a good one. Put both of them in there and you're good to go. The specific one I'm using is the old one that one of our Chart Guys members made of GDAX EMA that's defaulted to the 12 and 26, but I don't think that's around anymore. All right, I'm going to have to wrap it up here soon. Let's see though. We got Lock Dr. Fell. I always forget to comment. Stoked to be here and to have found this channel so fast into investing. This is where it's at. Full education every time. Happy to have you here, man, and I'm happy that that's the vibe you get from it, because that's definitely what we're going for. Just trying to share the knowledge and pay it forward. You know, I would not be where I am in life in any fashion right now if it wasn't for Dan doing what he has done for so many people. So we're all just trying to share the knowledge. Let's see, Awaken to the One. Do I think that Bitcoin will go to 1 million by next week? Really hoping. I would question why you're aiming so low with that question. I mean, 1 million? Is anybody here for 1 million Bitcoin? Put a 0 on that, my dude. But again, real quick before we wrap up, the log charts. You know, I call the log chart the dreamer chart and the linear chart the realist chart. And when you look at the dreamer chart, and BLX with price action all the way back down to a penny, is 1 million too crazy? Is 1 million too crazy? I don't think so. I mean, we wouldn't go straight there, but something like that. I know, don't a bunch of people have like 1 million target for 2030? Kathy Wood has something like that. So not too crazy. And if we're talking about bear markets, we've obviously seen like bear markets in crypto with large pullbacks, 80%, 90%, stuff like that. But for me, crypto hasn't seen a bear market until we lose this parabolic curve that we're on. Or not a parabolic curve. What would you even call this? I don't know. I don't know the word for it. But if that's lost, that's when you're like, whoa, time to buy the dip. All right. James says, do not sell during this rally. A lot of people sold at 100 and didn't get back in until the thousands. James, those are the words of someone who's going to end up bag holding through an 80% pullback. I hope you have a plan, sir. If you plan to hold for a pullback like that, then you're good to go. You got a plan. But all the people out there saying don't sell, anybody who sells stupid, it's the same stuff every cycle. And that's, you know, I'm not trying to bag on you. But and even your comment above, maybe we'll kind of roast James for a second. And really sorry, you can download the video if you don't like it, but Long Monster, easy 10K, go all in on BTC. These are just red flags. I don't know if we got any red flags around here, but you will see more and more people talk about stuff like that, say stuff like that, and then when it gets to the most annoying point, that's when like professional traders will start shorting and using you as a counter indicator. You got to have a plan, man. If you think people said the same thing at 69K, we were going to 100K. On the first move at 20K, we were going to 50K. It's the same thing on all cycles, on all assets, and all this stuff. So as Revi said in the beginning, stay humble, my friend. Stay humble, my friend. Don't talk down on people who are locking in life-changing money. Ryan just sold a bunch of Bitcoin and bought property on the ocean to build a house for his family. Anybody who's selling is locking in profits. If you want to be diamond hands, that's fine too. But you don't need to tell other people to do something like that, because if that's your game plan, that you're looking for $1 million in 2030, then like I said at the beginning of the stream, you don't care if we pull back 80%. You don't care if we pull back 50%, because you know that that's part of the way that markets work and cycles work and stuff like that. But most people are not down with that. Most people are not down with that. And if you sell at 100 and have to buy back at 1,000, that's trading. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of profit-taking shaming going on just in general, and that's kind of why I'm roasting you right now. And it's out of love and care. I see you say, we are not selling. Best of luck to you, dude. I hope you're right. I've been giving my family Bitcoin for Christmas for 2 years. I didn't add it in at pretty much all-time highs 2 years ago, because I was like, now is not the time to buy. And I got them in near the lows. Like, I hope it goes to $1 million. I'm telling him, like, my brother, that like, I hope this, can like pay for your my niece's college someday or stuff like that. So I definitely want to see it continue going up, but I also know how markets work. And when you're in a euphoric market, there's nothing wrong with considering taking profits, managing something. You don't got to take it off into strength. Like I said, you can walk stops and do this and that. Let's see. James is an OG. Bought a monitor for 2.2 BTC in 2012. The old what, $180,000, or no, more than that at this point. Or no, yeah, it would be a $143,000 monitor. Hopefully it was good. But stuff like that happens, man. I hope you're not carrying that weight. I, being an active trader, back in 2018, I had, AMD at $16, all of this stuff way down low. And sometimes I'm like, man, what if I just held all that? Well, I wouldn't have built the skills that I have now. I wouldn't have the character that I have now. It's all a journey, man. And if you're carrying that weight, then you're not doing yourself a favor. All right, I'm done for real. I got to get to the Chart Guys members only stream. If y'all are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We like charts. We like talking about charts. We like teaching people about charts. If you hate us, you can unsubscribe. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. James Nguyen, I won't hold it against you if you hit the unlike button. Oh, the Nightbot nuked you. That wasn't me. I was enjoying your antics, I guess we can call them. But you posted too much and the Nightbot nuked you. All right, have a good rest of your day, everybody. Stay protective and keep a close eye on what we got going. The James Nguyens of the world are out and about. Maybe they're right and we go right to 100K. Maybe they're wrong and we see weekly consolidation. We'll see you next time. Farewell.